Hello, my honeys. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the emotional state of wholeness and why we should seek to select wholeness over happiness. Why do I say that? Well, the pursuit of happiness seems to be a preeminent occupation for most of us. We all want to be happy, right? We all deserve to be happy, don't we? In fact, in the States, the right to pursue happiness is even enshrined in the Constitution. We all have the right to pursue it. The question is, should we really want to? Let's explore that. Is the pursuit of happiness really in our best interests? I propose that it's not, for many reasons. Perhaps you'd like to explore this idea with me. I know it sounds a little counterintuitive. Firstly, no one is entitled to happiness. It's not something we can demand, whether from others, the so-called powers that be, or even life itself. We also don't succeed very well if we try to demand it from ourselves. No one else can make us happy if we are not. They can comfort us, perhaps, give us loving support, understanding, and compassion. Sometimes they can help to cheer us up a little, for a little while. But ultimately, we will still be unhappy. For whatever reason, we are unhappy. We cannot organize a protest or a movement expecting the government or any other institution to give us our happiness. Create all the required external circumstances for us to have happy lives. Even if that were possible, our happiness ultimately would still have to be an inside job. Better circumstances may aid us in that, certainly, and less injustice, fear, poverty, repression, suffering, and war in the world would most definitely make it a better place for us all. And we all want that. However, would we then honestly be happy just because of that? We also cannot approach life like a tantruming toddler, stomping our feet and balling our fists and yelling at the top of our lungs to be given happiness now. Many of us are approaching life this way, unawares, thinking that we're entitled somehow and hard done by in too many ways, and some mysterious force is responsible for correcting all this unfairness for us. And we certainly can't force ourselves to just be happy. Doing so would require a plethora of toxic and negative thought and behavior patterns that ultimately cause even more and deeper unhappiness, because it causes us to suppress, deny, and disown our own emotions. It leads to inauthenticity, unconsciousness, addictions, and all sorts of mental ill health and even physical illness. It's toxically positive to try to force ourselves to be happy if we're not. False light, toxic positivity, emotional suppression, these can never be sources of happiness for that reason. Secondly, happiness is such an elusive and highly personal thing. Much like success, everyone defines it differently for themselves. So what would make you happy won't necessarily make me happy, and vice versa. So what does the alternative, wholeness, entail? And why is it the better option? Well, selecting wholeness implies the state of being that is, first of all, in acceptance of what is, right? It is. So the only healthy response to that is acceptance, because it is here, it is now, it is. It is our current state. And if that is unhappiness, for whatever reason or reasons, then accepting that is the first step. The acknowledgement alone is empowering, because it's a step in the direction of awareness, which is always a truly positive thing. Next, until we accept something, it literally cannot change, because the energy of rejection, suppression, or resistance is a force. It's a powerful force field, and it's a life-giving force, because it's focused energy with plenty of emotion behind it. So acceptance and awareness are the environment that's necessary and perfect for healing and change. When we allow ourselves the space and the time to become truly aware of the reasons why we are unhappy, and make the commitment to ourselves to honestly look at the trauma, the pain, the thought patterns, and the actions that underlie those reasons, we begin to free ourselves from the belief systems that are holding them in place and projecting certain realities out into our experience. The more we do this and process through the complicated web of emotions that are always under our unhappiness, the more energetic space we free up in our field for higher frequency states to become embodied naturally. One of the first states of being that naturally arises with greater release and healing is that of contentment. We become more aware of all that is good, everything that's a blessing, and everything that is wonderful in our lives. And we gradually learn to start practicing more gratitude. Contentment is the natural outworking of gratitude in our lives. From a state of being that is grateful and content, it becomes very easy to begin to vibrate at higher frequency states, such as enthusiasm, trust, freedom, peace, joy, and even bliss. These are not just emotions. They are the literal frequency state that you are in. Positive feelings are just their byproduct. Contentment is not the opposite of ambition. We can simultaneously feel profound gratitude and joy for what is, and we can want, desire, create, and be manifesting and working for more. The elements of striving for and flowing with and towards our next are present without any of the struggle and the strife. We simply allow what we choose. It really is that simple. Don't get me wrong. Nothing about this process is quick or easy, especially in the beginning. The difficult parts of the journey don't last forever, though. They can sometimes feel like they will, but they don't, and they won't. It keeps on getting easier and easier until eventually you realize that you just function differently now. Joy stays. It no longer depends on an outside circumstance, conditions, or people, like happiness often can. Joy is the permanent undercurrent, whatever may be taking place externally. Apart from those exceptional moments in life that we all have to face from time to time, the ones that knock us to our knees, and lay us prostrate, sometimes for quite a while, we remain largely in an empowered state of higher love. The point of personal power is always in the center pillar. Either extreme of polarity at every point along each spectrum is always connected to its opposite. Our freedom lies in the neutral state that transcends that duality and enables real life force to be generated from the heart, with all of its accompanying states of being, sacred, beautiful, blissful states of being. As with all of life's beautiful ironies, selecting wholeness over happiness ultimately leads to much greater and truer happiness along the way and in the end. I wish you true healing, wholeness, and joy, always with much love, my honeys. Thank you for watching.